Hey y'all, I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. I just wanted to talk a little quick life update. And I think the main topic I wanted to talk about today was why it's okay to put yourself out there and not be afraid of making mistakes. This year, I'm a junior in high school, was a pretty instrumental year in terms of learning from my mistakes, in terms of making mistakes, and in terms of actually benefiting from the mistakes I made in sort of an indirect way. First off, I just want to say I made a shit ton of mistakes. Barely passed calc. I'm retaking. I retook it already because I need my GPA to be alright. Calc was rough. A lot of classes I just underperformed in. Like I got like B pluses and A minuses where I definitely could have pretty easily gotten A's if I put in like 10% more effort. So that was like a hit, like a gradual hit to the GPA. It's still chill. I mean, it's still pretty good. It's like a little over a 3.7, I think, but it could be a lot better. It could be like a 3.8 or higher, but could be worse too. I could have like a 3.2. I could be failing. I could suck. You just gotta be grateful for what you have. But anyways, point is, I made a lot of mistakes this year. But the good thing about these mistakes is I'm able to take knowledge of where I went wrong. It's not because I'm stupid that I made these mistakes. I mean, except for maybe like calc. Calc's brutal. But pretty much every class other than calc, I could have done way better in if I just like cared. If I put in like a bit more effort, I could 100% have done better than I ended up doing. So that's a bit interesting to think about, and I'm glad that I acknowledged that for future reference. So that's something good to cover mistakes, at least in like a learning way. Other than that though, another thing is that at first things that might look like mistakes can definitely come back to like help you out in the long run. A week ago, so for context, I had attended so there's this engineering club at my school every Thursday. I can count on two hands how many meetings I've been to, and last Tuesday, because I'm on their mailing list, I got an email about running for board positions. At first I was like, I've barely ever pulled up to this club. Like, I know most of the board and I'm friends with them, and I have a lot of friends who are in it, but like I feel bad if I ran, because like what am I even doing there? Like, I've barely attended. I have like 25% of the meetings, and I still said fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it, and even if I'm making a mistake, there's maybe something to learn from it, a lesson I could learn. And so I applied on a whim on a Tuesday last week. I told my friends I'm running for social media manager, and on Thursday I pulled up to the meeting. They spun the wheel, it went on my name, and then they were like, "Can you even run?" And I quote, like, that was actually crazy. So I was like, because the requirement is you're supposed to attend at least 25% of meetings, and I had no clue whether I fit that or not. I just assumed that like if I didn't, they would let me know ahead of time so that I didn't look like an idiot. But they didn't. They were like, "Can you run?" And I was like, and then they just went, "Just go for it." So I had my presentation. I spoke a little. It was pretty scuffed because I was a bit jarred from that, and there were a few things that I didn't get to say that I wanted to. But in summary, I pretty much described my previous experience with social media, and for context, I run an Instagram account that gets like, 100k views a month. I started like last month, so it's not a huge sample size, but I've been getting some traction, I've been getting some followers, I've been getting some likes. So I flexed that. I basically just flexed that on my social media slide. I also do some other social media stuff or whatever. And so I flexed that. I also this year applied for media lead on my school's robotics team, which last year I was the scouting slash data analysis lead slash, more importantly, strategy lead. But I'm gonna become a senior, and I want to chill a little. And I've already been bringing my comps to I've already been bringing my camera to comps anyways. So I basically just get to do that without being called out for not doing my job. So a whole tangent aside, the point is, I ran for the media lead, or not media lead, for social media manager for engineering club, even though I had barely made the requirements. And after my presentation, bro was like, "Oh, this was your 7th meeting, so you barely made it." So they took my presentation, they accepted my application, and then this week on Thursday, I didn't get to pull up to the last meeting of the year because I had to go to a friend's thing. But my friends texted me at like 3:30, and they're like, "You got social media manager." And at first I was really confused because I was like, "What are you guys yapping about?" And then I was like, "Oh shit, I actually got it." So even though at first it felt like it might have been a mistake to go up in front of all these people who I hadn't talked to in like months, and like, except for my friends, and like apply for something that I at first thought I wasn't deserving of, the fact that I even got up there and did it gave me the opportunity to pretty much just run a whole Instagram account of one of the biggest clubs at our school. So at the end of the day, things that you might think were a mistake, or things that you might initially think aren't worth it, can end up being pretty useful in the long run. And even though it's not as explicit of a mistake, I think something else I would say is another mistake that I made that was kind of instrumental in like learning and the whole like developing myself as a person was sort of the company I keep. There were certain people that I had to cut off this year, and certain people that I kept closer, and I think learning from that was pretty huge for me because it gave me a better idea of what kind of company I want to spend time with. There's this pretty popular phrase called "you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," and I think the fact that I spent some time with people I wouldn't consider particularly productive or inspiring or creative or just dope people, the fact that I spent some time with some frankly degenerate people helped me realize that I should value myself more and I should value my company more. So I think that's more of an explicit example of how making mistakes can benefit you in the long run. But yeah, I think people should be afraid to put themselves out there and make more mistakes and let themselves fuck up, because something I realized this year very acutely after the fiasco that was like calc and like some of the tests I've taken this year is that making mistakes is just a human attribute, dude. Like, even the people who look so perfect and pristine on the outside, there's at least something that they just lack in that other people are better than them at. And even if it doesn't look that way, that is just the truth. That's just how things are. And the more you kind of internalize that and realize that there is not a single person in the world who is perfect and the best at everything, the more you kind of like forgive yourself for things. And I think that forgiveness is really instrumental in leading to future growth and letting yourself just grow and develop and thrive as a person. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got for y'all today. I think I have my SAT in like 26 hours. I need to bump my math section score up. I have like a 1510, but my math section score is lacking, dude. I could get a lot more points from that, and I really need to if I want to get above 1550. But yeah, wish me luck. I hope you all are doing great. Thank you for listening to my little yap session, and I will see you all next time.